About an hour ago in Boston, Massachusetts, in northeastern United States, it felt like a hurricane was blowing through. But now suddenly conditions have improved in this race filled with tradition. The temperatures are cooling, which is good. The winds are calming, which is great, as we welcome you back to the 123rd edition of one of the most important sporting events on earth.
Hey guys, Coach Enoch coming to you live. Coach Enoch checking in with you. Hey guys, just wanted to check in.
You're live.
Oh, I'm really live?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys. We are 10 weeks out from this Monday. We are now inside of 6 weeks to the Boston Marathon. We are now inside of 2 weeks.
Something I did leading up to CIM was kind of just like check in every week with people that were following me, people on the team through social media. So when I started training for Boston, I decided to do that same thing. So I started the Build to Boston like weekly check-in where I had the hashtag, but also just like a video each week.
Got in 23 miles today on the hills, taking things to the next level, getting some strength training in. Things have been
just check in, let people know how my training was going, how like workouts had gone that week. Just kind of build excitement, build a following, because since I do most of the training solo, it's helpful to have people kind of following along, encouraging me, and kind of keeping up with what's going on.
Thanks for following along and offering support, and have a great weekend. Thanks for the support. We'll keep it going. Just over a month to go to Boston. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for tuning in, and Build to Boston. Thanks, guys.
I was excited about the training and I was motivated to train. Things were going well. I was feeling good, but I was having a really hard time getting excited about racing Boston, which I know sounds really strange because it's one of the best marathons in the world, great competition, all the things that make Boston special.
He's gonna make a move on Salazar.
And the men are racing for Boston.
Dennis Linden is the 2018 Boston Marathon champion.
But for me, I was struggling with finding kind of my why to run Boston. In the 2 days leading up, once we started to travel, generally that's when I start to get a little more nervous and kind of get excited and kind of that build towards the race. And it was strange because that wasn't really the feeling I was having, even though this was my first marathon and whatever it was, 16 or 17 months, and all this whole build to Boston excitement. But I was just really not finding that spark, and that energy wasn't really building. So I think it's really quite common for any runner to experience something like this. I don't think it's something that people talk about because racing's supposed to be the fun part. It's supposed to be like the thing that you look forward to, the thing you're training for. But often what I find, and I think other people experience, is week in and week out doing the training becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of what, kind of just your daily life. And often it's the races that, you sort of think about them as like the end goal and the excitement, but they're also like a culmination of so many things. There's a lot of emotions coming in, or maybe it's been a really long training cycle and you just put in a lot of work and you kind of burned yourself out. But for whatever the reason is, I think it is a common feeling to come into a race and just not be able to get that fire, get that excitement. Not just elites, but everyday runners, especially running a race like Boston, you have a lot of pressure on you. So it doesn't matter if you're, a 3-hour marathoner or 5-hour marathoner, there's a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure that comes along with that.
So does the marathon go this way?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it went this way. So we're headed up to the Fairmont Copley Hotel to meet our athletes for a shakeout run. and then a little pep talk, kind of just go over last minute changes with the weather and things like that. And then right after that at 1 is the elite athlete technical meeting, which they'll kind of go over the rules, kind of what to expect, all that kind of stuff. I've been to a couple of those in the past, never one here, but they're all kind of different. We'll see what we get. You guys have chose me to be, your coach and to, be responsible for your training and for your plan. It's not something I take lightly. When I stepped away from the sport several years back, I didn't know if I'd ever run a marathon or come back, but it was really getting back and coaching with Team FTC that inspired me, so thank you. And then also just thank you for being a part of our team. I know we all share energy together and inspire each other, so thank you. Angela and I really put our heart and soul into Team FTC, and you guys are what
really, looking forward to all the work and all the time and all the energy that the athletes and myself have put into their training. And so, gave them a pep talk, was feeling good about that. And that started to help me, start to find a little focus. But again, it just really wasn't that same pre-race excitement that I usually have before, any race, but especially a big race like this. And that evening, as kind of getting things ready, getting all my gels, waters together and stuff like that, it just wasn't really coming together as far as that build. So I actually talked to Angela and kind of just wanted to, one, confide in her, but also, I know she's invested so much in my training, in this build, and made a lot of sacrifices. But I told her honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen the next morning, as far as, mentally or physically, because if you're not in it mentally, it's really hard to take on the marathon, especially a challenging race like Boston. So we, talked over a couple scenarios and said, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to go to the start line, but I can't really, guarantee what's going to happen from there. Not that you ever really can, but it was not the feeling you want to have before, one of the biggest challenges of your life.
Looks like the rain will be stopping right around the race start, which is pretty good if that's what happens. And then the wind's not looking too bad, mostly like a south wind, and so it's kind of like a crosswind most likely, I think, but a little kind of behind us. So can't complain. Sugar in the morning. Ready? Let's roll. Don't want to go left.
So there's a little bit of traffic getting to the bus, which is expected until we left with enough time. But we're about a block away from where it's supposed to be, so I might just hop out here and brave the elements.
Careful, you have 9 minutes.
See you guys at the finish.
Okay, love you.
We got to the bus, got on there with all the other elites, and it was like pouring down rain. We were on the interstate, and I kind of remained calm. Just wasn't really still getting that pre-race energy yet. But then we went, to the church right by the start line where they house all the elites, and it was helpful to be there, kind of with some of the other guys that I do know, and then actually, seeing Angela made it over to the start line and being there and kind of seeing her, that started to help build the excitement. But it really wasn't until we went out to the start line, kind of saw the course and started to envision and kind of, get an idea of what I was in for. And the fans, cheering, I kind of high-fived some of the fans, got them pumped up, got myself pumped up. And that was really when things started to feel kind of how they usually do for a big race. I think we were about a half a mile in. I looked down at my watch and we were running like 4:40 pace, and I was hoping to run closer to like 4:50 to 4:55. But at that point, there was a group of about 30 to 35 guys out in front, with the leaders and everyone that packed up behind them that were going out, pretty fast. So at that point, I kind of just pumped the brakes a little bit and settled into to my pace, the plan that I had.
So we just got Enoch's first 5K split, and he came in through the 5K at 15:31, which is about a 5-minute pace.
And then from there, I kind of started hitting my splits, focusing on fueling, and pretty much I'd say by like mile 8 or 9, I was kind of questioning, are the legs going to hold up through the race, which I think is natural, when your legs are already starting to feel beat up and you're like, there goes mile 8, but I have 18 to go and my legs are already tired.
We're heading to the finish line right now. Enoch should be about halfway. We don't know where he's at pace-wise right now because the app isn't working, unfortunately. Here's the leaders.
As we went over Heartbreak, I ran pretty strong through Heartbreak at mile 21, but then from that point on, the last 4 miles, it started to get even hotter. And the legs were really beat up from the hills. And from that point, I was just, really focused on trying to get to the finish. And I think I passed 1 or 2 more guys, but really it was just like a grind all the way.
I split 67, came back in 70, which I'm really, really proud of. Fought super hard that last 10K, and there were many points during that where, I never thought about quitting, but my legs felt like they were about to quit. My legs were not giving out, but really starting to get tight, and I just kept focusing on form, just like I would yell at my athletes if they were out there, and I was really proud. I kept the form good, kept it going. I have no idea what some of those late splits were, but I just kind of kept drawing off the crowds, pushing, and I honestly didn't know if I was going to be able to make it the last 2 miles, but I just tried to take it 1 mile at a time, grind it out, grind all the way through, and the crowds were awesome at the end, and it was definitely really emotional. Coming down the finish line, and to run, a PR by over a minute on a warm day, literally running the whole race by myself was really, really special. And I just knew I couldn't quit, had to keep it going. And I knew the team was back there fighting, pushing themselves. So yeah, it was a great day. Really, really happy. Looking forward to a little time off. The legs are definitely really beat up, but that's what I came here to do, was compete, push myself, run my own race, and make our team proud. So it's great. Thanks.